Hello, welcome to yet another episode of Let's Talk Business. This episode is for the business leaders. This is leadership. You can call it a leadership episode. And I personally think that leaders have the greatest responsibility to ensuring the success of a business. And one of the biggest tasks of any leader is challenging their own thinking, not the thinking of the employees, not the thinking of the market, but their own thinking. And we have a number of examples in business. I have famously used Everready, I've used Kodak, I've used Nokia as an example, famous example of how leaders were supposed to challenge their own thinking. And as leaders, we need to ensure that we don't just evaluate ourselves, but we also learn what other people are evaluating our performance, so that it moves from individual performance to success of the company or performance of the company. But most of the time we fail to draw that line, and we tend to see the success the way we see it as leaders and not how other people evaluate it. And then we fail to shape a culture of success because we end up creating what we think success looks like, and it becomes our way or the highway. And we also tend to get rid of employees who hold a different thinking from what we think the business should take direction. And most of the time we have seen that leaders who have taken such positions have led companies to failure. I have used an example of Kodak, I've used an example of Nokia, I've used the typewriter company. But today I want us to look at the 100 billion business that was once called Yahoo. Yahoo was once a $100 billion business. It was started by two Stanford graduates in 1994, Jerry Yang and David Filo. They started this company because there was need for people to find information somewhere rather than the library. Before then, when you want to get any information, you'd have to go through a series of books. But then these two guys decided, then let's create something that if you want something, you just go and search online and you get the articles. And so they started Yahoo. They also built it, and 2 years later they went public, by the way. They were public trading in 1997. They had the most internet traffic, and that time was when internet was starting to pick up. Yahoo was leading. The company was so big. They had Yahoo Messenger, they had the Yahoo Mail. At one point, they were approached by two Stanford graduates, Larry Page and Sergey Brin. They offered to sell PageRank, a search algorithm that will come and later being known as Google, for $1 million, and Yahoo refused the offer. And at that time, internet was really picking up. Everybody wanted to invest in anything tech, anything that had a .com on it. And that is the time when companies like Amazon started coming up, and Yahoo was at its peak, and they were doing very well. They even offered to buy Facebook at that time for $1 billion, but that transaction did not go through. By 2002, Yahoo was ranked the best search engine. But from that point, Yahoo needed drastic change because tech was changing very fast, and they needed to be more responsive to users' needs. Since 2010, Yahoo had changed 10 CEOs in 6 years. And basically it's because they needed the right leadership to be able to steer the company to the right direction. And if there was any time that Yahoo would have picked up, was through the leadership of former Google executive Marissa May. She came right at the time when Yahoo had just bought 40% stake in Alibaba. She led the company to investing into mobile, and she has been used as a case study of classical example of a bad leadership and how leaders of any business need to challenge their own thinking. And I'm not trying to slander her, but that is a good example of leadership in general, and we cannot blame the CEO. Even the directors of Yahoo could have seen it at that time, and that led to the downfall of Yahoo until it was bought by Verizon and declared bankrupt and bought just for 4.8 billion. And since she came in 2012, Yahoo was being overtaken by companies that did better. When it comes to search engine, it was taken over by Google, and when it came to Yahoo Messenger, it was taken over by Facebook Messenger, WeChat, WhatsApp. They also had news. They were giving one news site, and Facebook came in with the opportunity to offer news as well to the consumers and private sites as well. But when Marissa May picked up leadership, so many things happened in that company. The first thing she did is to recall the remote workers of Yahoo, because Yahoo had workers who used to work remotely, and call them back. She led by fear of firing, and employees were quoted saying they didn't know who will be fired next. And it was her way or the highway. She wouldn't listen, especially to the employees or even to the market. And you see, as a leader, as we've said, it is important that you listen more. You develop a culture to listen, and I think that's the responsibility of leaders. Even when what you're being told or what you're seeing is challenging your own thinking or your beliefs or mindset. And people say that she was more focused on building her brand and success of her as a CEO than the success of the company. So this example, and you can look for it further on the internet, you'll see the mistakes that she made as a leader. But what I want to point out is a focus towards one main thing, that we have to challenge our own thinking as leaders. We have to keep challenging our own beliefs and keep listening to the market. The previous video I talked about us paying attention, and I said that that is the greatest cost that any person starting a business would pay. The greatest cost being you paying attention to the market, paying attention to the consumer, and also paying attention to the trend, to the industry. And I think if we as business owners decide to challenge our thinking and pay attention to the market, then there is no task that will be surmountable. And I always say that what we need right now to change the entrepreneurship landscape is just ordinary people doing a little extraordinary things that makes them unique. So as I finish, the lesson here is clear, that leadership in business is inside out, not outside in. Perception matter, but not as much as the leadership's ability to lead the company. Continue watching these episodes in Stereo Mbele YouTube channel. Subscribe, hit the notification button. See you next time.